In this video, I'm going to share exactly how to beat workplace stress by sharing with you the 3 tips that I've used over and over and over again to walk into the office with confidence, knowing that I can take on the day. Hi, I'm Frankie Vignon, founder of Frankie V, where I help corporate men master their minds and their bodies so that they can have a full life of fulfillment in the workplace. Now, you may have corporate stress, you may have stresses from work, just like I do every single day. However, listening to these 3 tips are going to help you absolutely destroy those. Tip number 1 is really simple, but something that we don't think about when we're around coworkers or in the workplace in general. The first tip simply is just to tell somebody what you're dealing with. You could go up to your boss, you could go up to a coworker that you trust, and as long as you frame it around the picture that, hey, I don't really know how to say this, I was curious if you're dealing with the same thing, I'm really challenged with this, and I'd like to work through it so that I can get more productive. Now, I'm not saying go in there and just start complaining and whining about your situation. However, I am saying don't be afraid to speak up. You're not alone in this journey. In fact, you see so many people in the corporate world deal with these stresses alone, in isolation, and they think nobody else is dealing with it either. You know, for a long time, I thought the same exact thing, where I felt like I didn't know how to talk to people about my problems because I thought other people wouldn't want to hear them. However, you build a sense of leadership, you build a sense of camaraderie when you're able to tell people what you're dealing with and then solve the problem. Again, you're not just going in there and complaining, but you're actually saying, hey, I'd like to improve my life in this way. I'm challenged with this. Can you help me work on a solution? And people 9 times out of 10 are going to be very, very receptive to that. So point number 1 is to simply know that you're not alone and don't be afraid to share that with you. And the second thing is something that you could do alone at any time, whether you're at your car or in your car or sitting at home or just anywhere really during the work time or work day or whatever the case may be. Whenever you feel a sense of stress or overwhelming sensation bubble up, all you have to do is breathe. I know it sounds really crazy, but we used to live in this environment where we would always be stressed out from not knowing where our next meal might come, not knowing if we would get attacked by a saber-toothed tiger. And of course, I'm talking about the caveman days, the Paleolithic era, where we literally were fighting for our lives. However, our mind and our brain, in fact, doesn't know that we're living in this world that's actually very safe. And the common day stresses of work, deadlines, bosses, whatever the case is, your brain directly translates that into the same exact thing as being attacked by a saber-toothed tiger. Believe it or not, that's biologically how we're wired. So at the risk of looking like an idiot on camera, I'm going to do this breathing exercise with you. So if you're watching this now, all you have to do is just sit there and do this breathing exercise with me. So what you're going to want to do is you could leave your eyes open, you could leave your eyes closed. I like to close my eyes, and it takes 5 freaking breaths and you're done. So just goes like this. Now in the sense of time, I've only done 2 breaths, obviously, but you can get the picture. Go 5 breaths at least, and then longer if you need to. And key points here to distinguish is that I wasn't breathing up high in the chest. That's where our stress comes from. A lot of people walk around breathing high in their chest. And the second piece is I was breathing actually in my diaphragm, which is my belly, really low into my stomach, so that I could get that oxygen into my brain. One thing it immediately does is reduces anxiety and improves focus. So if you want to do either one of those or both of them at the same time, I highly suggest that breathing exercise. And then the third piece is simply get away from your environment. You know, I'm in my office, my home office right here, and I do a lot of work here. However, I like to mix it up. I'll go to a coffee shop, I'll walk around this beautiful neighborhood that I live in, taking calls, thinking. So my point to you is to simply get up, get outside if it's nice, and if it's not nice, just simply change your environment. And the reason we want to do this is because our brain may think that we're in the same environment over and over and over again. However, you change your environment, you're able to break that routine and actually get some creative juices flowing. So a way I like to do that is walk outside or change my environment, like I mentioned before. So that is the third tip. And then a bonus tip for you for staying to the end is simply to limit caffeine intake and increase your sleep. You know, we live in this world that we think go, 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 be productive. I used to joke back in college and early in my career at my tech company, I used to say, I have one speed and that speed is go. And people believed it because I was up, hitting the ground running, ready to rock and roll. But I got burnt out by doing that, and I'm sure you might have felt the same way. Now, I'm not against working hard. I love working hard. However, I am saying sometimes it's important to rest, to recharge. So what do I mean by this? Instead of waking up early just because everybody's doing it, just take the time if you need to sleep in. Don't do it because you're lazy. There's a difference between being smart and being lazy, but there's a difference in that sense where you're actually able to take an hour out of your day to gain 3 hours of productivity, because productivity is not about just doing. Productivity is about finishing. You see that clear distinction? Finishing versus doing. You know, don't pack an 8-hour day just because, but if you can finish things and show them to your boss or show them to whatever you're doing, you're able to be way more successful. And then limit caffeine intake because that highly increases your stress levels. I like to stick to 1 to 2 cups of coffee a day and don't drink any coffee after 1 p.m. because that will affect your sleep. So when you do those 3 things plus the bonus tip, you're going to be in great shape. So again, in recap, number 1 is to simply tell somebody if you're dealing with something. Number 2 is to simply breathe. Breathe deep into your belly. Number 3 is to walk around, change your environment. And the bonus tip is limit caffeine, increase your sleep. I'm Frankie V. Hope those tips help. Would love to hear any questions or comments below. Can't wait to engage with you. Can't wait to talk with you. Have a great day, and we'll talk soon.